Hi Aries, this is your December 2017 horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com, the last month of the year. But actually this video will not be focused just on December. The first part of the video will be all about Saturn in Capricorn, how it's going to affect you till 2020. For 2.5 years almost, it will be in Capricorn. Such a pivotal and important event that is happening. And then in the second part of the video, we'll speak specifically about Mercury going retrograde in your 9th house, what it means specifically for December. And don't forget, this video will be relevant for everyone who has their ascendant, their sun, or their moon in Aries. But specifically, always check your ascendant sign if you know your time of birth. Second, the moon, and even third, the sun. Anyway, what does it mean? On the 20th of December, Saturn is going into Capricorn. This happens once every 28 years only. And this is the strongest, one of the strongest positions for Saturn. So Saturn is not so malevolent. Saturn, as you know, gives us the difficulties, the karmic testing, the lessons, the slowing down of things. And you know, even if it sounds negative, those things exist in life. We cannot pretend they don't, and we have to. I cannot just talk to you about how you're gonna succeed and be great and everything is fantastic. We have to talk about the challenges as well, and that's what Saturn's position always indicate for us. But in Capricorn, Saturn is in its own sign, and there is an ancient rule: when a planet is in its own sign, it manifests in regards to where that falls in your horoscope. And for Aries, this is your 10th house that Saturn will trigger from the end of December till 2020 for 2.5 years, guys. The whole 2018, the whole 2019, and part of 2020 even. So it's your career, it's your vocation, it's your achievements, it's your reputation that you can manifest in over the next 2.5 years, but slowly. Saturn does not, no rushing, no taking unplanned thoughts. Saturn only allows success, especially in Capricorn. It's much more, it allows you to have much more success because it sets you already to be more disciplined, more organized, more structured. Otherwise, in other signs, Saturn does not, the person does not like doing those things. You know, for example, Saturn in Aries feels frustrated with those restrictions. But when Saturn transits Capricorn, you'd feel okay to, you know, to take the lawful road to achieving your career, to take step by step, working hard, putting even more hours than other times to achieve better reputation, to achieve better, you know, respect in the position you are, and you will succeed. Actually, you can achieve a peak position of some sort. You can become a managing director. You can become a, you know, you can be promoted with much more responsibilities, but it will be only if people or institutions or whatever is responsible for your promotion sees that you are putting the extra hours, that you are working hard, that you're doing the lawful discipline thing that Saturn requires. Saturn in Capricorn is about discipline, about following regulations, following instructions, following the tested path. You know, if you're trying to get promoted from this position of manager to 2-3 steps ahead, it's not going to happen. And also promotions during that time are more laborious. Any kind of promotions for your social status, yes, you can achieve high social status, you can be promoted, but it will require that it always comes with extra price of you having to work extra hard, of you getting, say, for example, twice as much responsibilities and twice as less time, for example, for your personal life. And having to follow protocol, having to take into consideration some authority figures, some institutions of some sort. And so if you're doing that, you can be very successful over the next 2.5 years. And don't expect that it happens suddenly. It can take a laborious process of being approved to get this promotion or to get this position. With a lot of protocol, with a lot of bureaucracy, with a lot of passing through different hierarchical levels until you get there. And you have to be okay with the long, winded road to there rather than trying to jump a few hoops. If you try to jump hoops, what happens is that you can fall from very high when Saturn is in the 10th house. So you can be strongly disappointed. And because Saturn is about teaching humbleness, is about teaching perseverance, is about teaching, Saturn is the servant, taking the path, and the 10th house is the position of the boss. So yes, you can achieve positions of boss and authority and more social respect and responsibility, but by working hard like a servant, by following rules like a servant, you know, by being willing to humble yourself towards other authority figures, to do their bidding to other authority figures. And often when Saturn is in the 10th house, they're very powerful, strong authority figures around you. Even if you're self-employed, it might be, for example, some government institutions, some government, you know, requirements regarding your business, some more hefty structures that you have to create around your business. For example, when Saturn was transiting my 10th house from the ascendant, I streamlined my business. It was a lot of work. I was working for 2.5 years, 12 hours a day without a day break. And because it was my vocation, it was the right place, I was the right time, I was willing to put the hard work and hours, and it was about putting order, organization, structure into my business, because it was way chaotic without order before that. And yeah, that's how it works. You streamline your business. But if you're not self-employed, and the growth happened gradually, not overnight. I had projects and I was thinking, oh, I'll finish them in 3-4 months. No, they took like 1.5 years longer, or almost like the duration of the whole Saturn in the 10th house. So be prepared that business projects, they'll be with heavier responsibilities, more work. They would require more effort. They would require more slower approach, checking out the details, making sure that everything is, you know, because Saturn is a stickler for details, just like, you know, you have to make sure that everything is well organized and stable in a sense. And then the projects tend to be delayed, or they have like time, what is that, like a deadline that can put more pressure on you. But usually deadlines have to be a bit extended when Saturn is in the 10th house, because projects of any sort connected to your career take longer. So yes, if you're in the right career position, if you're in the right place of work, if you have the dedication, working hard, that these 2.5 years Aries will put you in a position of great, more power, positions of more responsibilities, with extra work, with promotion of some sort. If it's your own business, structuring the business more, making it more stable, making it more organized. If there is growth, the growth is slow and gradual. If you're working for someone, there's a very strong hard task master or boss above you. Someone who is very demanding, but just and fair. Saturn in Capricorn is just and fair. Someone who is maybe more old school, a boss that requires you to stick to tradition, to protocol, to structure, and boss that demands a lot from you. It might be, even if you're not working, it might be like some authority figure, like professor or something like that, or some institution that requires you to take the lawful steps one by one. And it's a hard taskmaster, basically, it's your inner authority figure that speaks, if it's you, and that you're putting pressure on yourself to be more realistic, more organized, more streamlined in regards to your career. Or there is some outer authority figure that does this for you. It can play out both ways. And the ultimate, and if you're not in the right position, then Saturn is, you know, Saturn is symbolized by death with a scythe. So it wants to chop off anything that is no longer, like everything that is desiccated, that's not productive, that is making you just, that is delaying, that is bringing restrictions. How do I say? Maybe it's not productive, it's not constructive anymore in your life. So Saturn in the 10th house will remove any careers or career plans and goals which are unrealistic, which are not pragmatic and practical, or maybe make you change your career goals with more practical, something more achievable, something that is more in alignment with the current needs of society and government and organizations. And again, if you're in the right place, more responsibilities, positions of power, there might be certain more tense situations with authority figures. Remember, but the authority figures are the ones that have the power now. You're in a much better position if You don't have authority figures over you, but everyone has some authority figures. It would be government for some. For others, it will be, you know, boss. For others, it will be a parental or teacher figure of some sort, that they become more demanding from us Aries. And that they push us to be more organized, more mature, more serious. And careers that are not, that you've been not fully invested in, that you don't want to put all the energy in, and obviously these are not the right careers for you, they fall off. So people lose jobs or get redundant, or stop one career to start another career that is more meaningful for them, or that is more constructive, let's say, more pragmatic. So be prepared for that, and it can give great rewards at the end of the, especially the results are seen towards 2020, towards the end of this transit, because the results come slower with Saturn. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that you have to be very straightforward with any institutions, government or whatever it is, bosses. Try not to be clever, try not to play games. Saturn does not like that, and there will be repercussions, and there will be fast consequences. Also, if you've been doing something against authorities or the government that is hidden, that is, you know, that is not legal, or if you've been doing something in regards to your career, say, let's say it's not you. Let's say you have a boss that is Aries, that you really dislike because he's been taking frivolities, he's been not being kind, he's been not being honest, he's been maybe stealing money from the company or treating people like rubbish and dirt, and Saturn goes in the 10th house for that Aries. Let's say it's not you. And this person will get what they deserve in regards to their career and public image. If they were an asshole, if they were not, you know, if they didn't do their job right or whatever, karma comes and bites them, so to speak. I don't want to scare you, but that can be good for some other areas. Think for some other areas. We're never the bad ones, you know. But Saturn, if you've done such things, Saturn, someone will come and point it out to you, or the consequences of those actions will manifest. You see them, and you have to be your own judge and correct them, or something will be happening in your career and social status that is changed in a big way because you know, and don't go blaming other people. Saturn is extremely fair planet. Whatever happens to you during a Saturn transit, you know, people say, I was reading some comments, people like, I hate Saturn, it's the worst planet, fuck off Saturn. They were like, you know, it never gave me anything good, never gave me anything constructive, and they blame another planet for what's happening in their life. Well, how come Saturn transiting some people's 10th house can give them respect and positions of great authority and positions of responsibility, while for other people it devalues them of their social status, removes them from job, gives them oppressive authority figures, makes them see the consequences of their actions, because Saturn only gives you and you reap what you have sown. So don't go blaming others. Or if some difficult authority figure comes in your life and you need that structuring influence, don't go again thinking that, oh, poor me, the universe is not fair. So kind of become more detached, neutral, and more lower expectations when it comes to your career, but you can still have high achievements. But be humble and do the hard work. And if you lose some job, remember this is probably not the right place where you are not putting the right efforts. And especially, let's see, 2018, the March-born Aries will feel this, the first 10 degrees. So Aries will have their ascendant or moon in the first 10 degrees. And life can feel that is a lot about responsibilities and duties and organization and order. But that's a great position for Saturn. That's where Saturn likes to be. That's where Saturn can structure and organize everything, because where do we need discipline, routine, structure? In our career, in our worldly achievements and status. Where do we need consistency? There. And Saturn gives you now, starting from December, this consistency to follow through with your career, to put hard efforts, to structure, to be disciplined, to achieve goals that take longer in regards to your career, but that can make you much more respected in society and in regards to your reputation, let's say it this way. I'm just going to change a little bit because it's very hot here. And so the first 10 degrees is when they get affected. So do remember, do come back to that video till 2020, and some things will make so much sense to you, and you'll be like, you know, and what is the best way of approaching the situation? Be humble, work hard, you know, if you lose certain positions of authority, then you're not in the right sphere. If you gain positions of authority, you've really done your hard homework, so to speak. And as I said, Saturn likes to materialize in Capricorn things, to make them realistic. So to basically to make you achieve social status in the next 2.5 years in positions of respect. Now let's look for the rest of December, specifically for December for your Aries. Well, Mercury goes retrograde most of the December in your 9th house, but it's kind of supportive for Aries because it's making a trine supportive aspect to Aries, to the sign. Mercury is retrograde in a fire sign. Aries is a fire sign. So yes, you might have to revise some things, to go over some things that you have to edit, redo, but you do it in a way that it's kind of not so disruptive, doesn't frustrate you so much. So it's okay, you know, you're not going to feel so disrupted by this Mercury retrograde. But again, always Mercury retrograde, remember, be careful with communication devices, with what you email, what you get back. Some confusions can happen. And not only that, but Mercury is, for the first part, Mercury is conjunct Saturn. And Saturn rules your career, the 10th house. So you might be revising something to do with some career project, something to do with some career responsibility, especially the first part of December. It's quite more, and things are a bit slower than you want. Things are, Saturn rules some kind of a blockage that is possible that you have to overcome with the change of plans. Mercury is in the 9th house. The 9th house is the plans that you have for the future. Saturn rules your career, so and your social status. So maybe you're making some change of plans in regards to some work project, some career project, or some worldly actions. Saturn rules the actions that you're taking in the world, that you have to change the plan for your actions or something like that, or some project, that you have to revise it, and that it might be a bit slowed down in December than you expected. If you imagine, oh, it will finish by the 5th of December, well, it might protract till January. So, you know, the slowing down influence of Saturn conjunct Mercury, and kind of sometimes even devices, Saturn, you know, is breaking down, and Mercury's devices, they can be broken down or slowed down as well. That's another manifestation. But be ready to revise your plans and goals, to have a plan B and C. Maybe you won't have the plan B and C. It will come when Mercury is retrograde, basically. And to see the big picture, Mercury is in the 9th house, from a different perspective, from a different point of view, different opinions of teachers or advisors or people that are friends of some sort, but they come as a advising source to you, that it might frustrate you a little bit, but they're showing you a different perspective. The 9th house is perspective from a bigger point of view, and Mercury retrograde there shows that there is a different perspective that you're being shown, and I would say be open to that and be willing to revise your own perspective and to integrate it with a different perspective. And maybe some plans you might have to reorganize in regards to travel, in regards to foreign country, in regards to documents connected to foreign countries, or transactions connected to foreign countries and foreign papers, something to do over again, something to work hard on, something that gets a bit delayed as well. And towards the end of December, when Mercury is going direct, it's going to go direct square Neptune. So there might be some confusion that's happening towards the end of December, some confusion in communication, some confusion in the signals that you're getting, you're saying someone, or maybe some mistakes and omissions are created, and some omissions that you've created create a problem as well. So be careful, because Mercury makes two intense aspects at the start and at the end of its retrograde period. So it will be a bit more intense, but again, as I said, because Mercury is in a supportive sign from you, it's not going to be so disruptive for you. Somehow you'll be able to handle it better. And Mars will be in your 8th house, guys, starting from around, I think, the 10th or something like that. Not sure exact day, but the most of December, it goes into Scorpio. So it facilitates big, for a month and a half, big breakthrough in transformations, because the 8th house is the house of changes. Mars is the house of fast transformations as well, like a surgical instrument. It might be a period also good for surgical interventions, period for fast healing of some sort, period where big changes happen very quickly, but you're not blocked psychologically in those changes. You kind of, your mind is prepared for those changes as well. And there might be some extra spending that comes in regards to projects that you're doing with another person, or extra spending that it comes in regards to another person or partner. Maybe your partner has some extra spendings because Mars is more impulsive planet, 8th house is other people's resources. But also you'll be more proactive about pursuing resources and assets that come to you through partners and other people. Yes, there will be some expenses there, but also you'll be more proactive. So that's my prediction for you, Aries. Do come back to it for 2 years ahead. It will be useful. And by the way, if you want to see a proper video, a proper webinar on Saturn in Capricorn, Robert Phoenix is doing one on the 9th of December, I think, or something like that. And I will be there. This is the best webinar we're doing this year. I think it's the most important. It's going to speak about how it will personally affect you, what degrees, what aspects, like a proper astrology reading. And this is an astrologer who has 30 years experience, guys. This is a master astrologer. This is a world-renowned astrologer. Saturn in Capricorn with Robert Phoenix. Be there. It's 30% off till then. After that, it becomes $39. Till then, it's only $29. So I'm super excited to learn about Saturn in Capricorn from the perspective of this astrologer that has way more experience than me. And he's observed one Saturn in Capricorn before, so he knows what you can expect. He's seen it for 30 years, how it affects people. And don't forget also, because Saturn is going into Capricorn in December, we're going to have an ancient astrology webinar. Saturn rules ancient things, you know. With Rumen Kolev, it's $180, and it is it's a workshop for the whole weekend, basically 14 hours. And we're going to be talking about the sidereal zodiac, the fixed zodiac, what each degree of the zodiac means according to ancient Babylonian methods of prediction. That would be amazing webinar. This information is not there, and we're translating directly from a text in ancient Greek, which has not been translated. So the theory about each degree, each star in the sky, according to how the ancient Babylonian and Egyptian and Greek astrologers predicted them, you'll be able to witness that. And it's 180 degrees, dollars for the 2 days. Sometimes you don't need to know any aspects, nothing about astrology. You just need your chart. Will generate your chart, and you'll be looking at degree by degree by degree of each zodiac sign according to ancient astrology. Do check the links for those 2 webinars. And I'm looking and have a fantastic last month of 2018, guys. Thank you so much.